We've all got those parts of our house where the internet just won't go. Well, if you had wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity, you could worry less about dead spots. Because with wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity, you get fast speeds, reliable connection in every room, and power for all your devices even when everyone's online. That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi, only on the Xfinity 10G network. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, I'm Brien Allen. I'm from Ablaze, and you are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Hey, Brian.
How are you?
I'm
Doing
well, thank you.
good.
Where are you at? In Texas?
Mm-hmm. I am
What's it
in
like?
Austin. Huh?
What's the weather like over there?
Oh, the weather, it's been pretty chilly like the last couple days, honestly. Like very, very, very cold.
Really? I always picture
Yeah.
Austin as being, especially Austin being really 24/7 warm.
Yeah, no, Austin is it's kind of it's like a roulette wheel, Austin. It's like one of those places that yeah, it'll have crazy hot summers, but sometimes in the winter is what gets weird. Like you'll have crazy like ice or snow storms. You'll have like entire city shutdowns, and then the next week it'll be like 70 degrees. And then it gets
Wow.
cold again, and then it gets to like 107 degrees in the
Yeah,
summer.
that's what I always picture in my head, cacti and the apple or whatever. But anyway, we can get started with Bridges Ablaze if you want. So let's start here, I guess. For those not familiar with Bridges Ablaze, can you give me the 2-sentence elevator pitch?
Yeah, we're a rock metal band out of Austin, Texas. We, I guess we do what we want, you know?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm doing a little research and reading your bio. Walk me through Guitar Center because I think everyone plays in Guitar Center. How did you zero in on your partner there?
Well, it was really his skill, because he was on like the other side of the aisle. And I just hear this miraculous shredding, it's like, damn, this guy's better than me, and I like try to reply by shredding my best, and he heard enough to kind of get into
Really?
sort of
That's how it went? You guys were trading riffs back and forth across the store? That's
yeah,
excellent.
we didn't even see each other. The riffs just started happening. And yeah, that's literally what happened. And at a certain point I was like, man, I got to meet this guy. So I turn off the amp, go around the corner. I was like, hey, who was doing that? And then Ruben just raises his hand. And I was like, you, okay, I'm getting your number.
So just to be clear, it wasn't Stairway to Heaven, right? Because there's probably that sign hanging, no Stairway to Heaven, like in Wayne's World.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely not. No Stairway to Heaven.
So then it just took off from there. You guys decided to start collaborating.
Well, I wanted to, but Ruben, he was very, very involved with a band of his own at that point. They were out in El Paso called Annihilate the Nation, and they were like opening for All the Remains and stuff. They had a really, really cool thing going, and so he was really busy with that. And so I said, hey, do you want to like be in a band with me? And he was like, oh man, I would, but I'm just heavily involved. So it took years, but we were always friends. That's the thing. Like we had our separate bands. He watched me and my other bands, go on tour or do our releases. He would always come to my shows, and sometimes, we'd meet up and jam out, maybe once every month or two, just hang out. And eventually, after years of friendship, one of his projects fell apart, one of mine fell apart, and after just years of, I guess, gaining each other's trust, we just kind of opened up about what we were going through. And we were like, you want to start something? Because, any of the grievances he had in his old projects, I fully understood. And I was always kind of in natural support of him. And I think vice versa. And so we both kind of felt like we would, have a similar vision. It certainly has panned out.
Avoid those pitfalls.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, we have probably one of the greatest, I guess you could call it like systems that I've ever like had the honor of being a part of. It's really cool.
Are you guys writing together then in the same like room, the traditional old school style, or is it emailing stuff back and forth?
It could be both. It really can be all of the ways.
Is there a preference you have, or it kind of just happens?
I would say for me, it usually just starts when I'm jamming. That can either be with somebody or maybe Ruben, maybe not, maybe by myself. And eventually I'll kind of let an idea marinate long enough, and then I'll eventually track it on my computer over there. And then I'll eventually have a good enough idea to where I feel comfortable, like, hey, I tracked rudimentary drums and bass and I tried to like beef out the demo as much as I could. And then I'll like email an idea to Ruben. Sometimes it'll generally work that way, but at the end of the day, the songwriting process between us is really so fluid and situational. So it really is pretty different for every song.
When you're writing, are you writing the song for how it's going to come across on stage? Like this will be a good spot for a sing along or a drop, or are you writing a song for the song's sake and then adapting later on?
Sometimes, sometimes it'll be kind of evident, we'll just be in the studio. One of us will hear like, man, this needs to go here. Oh, this is the spot for a drop. And sometimes it feels natural, and sometimes it's kind of a retrospect thing.
Okay. So listening to your music, Bridges Ablaze, it's very emotional. And I've read some of your bio. I'm guessing you find it very cathartic as well because you've gone through some stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, that's really what music has become for me, because I've been in it for a lot of reasons, and some of those have come and gone. But I'd say the most, definitely for now, especially the dominant reasons, expressing that pain.
Do you ever feel that you've put too much of yourself into a song and you've been too vulnerable?
At first I asked that question, but these days it feels like I almost don't put enough. So I feel like my newer songs are even more vulnerable.
So when you get out there and play them, are you like, oh shit, my family's going to hear that, or my wife, brother, are going to hear this, whatever I'm throwing out there? Is there any sort of that, or it is what it is?
Yeah, it's kind of it is what it is. I mean, a lot of it's about people that I'm like. Some of the darker stuff is about certain people that I'd say definitely aren't in my life at this point. So it's kind of neither here nor there. Okay. And I've definitely had conversations, with specific people and explained, if they ever had any questions, but yeah, it's mostly it's sort of like it is what it is thing, because I'm just writing my life, from my point of view and expressing it.
So how does it make you feel then when you're writing a song in Austin, Texas, the song connects with somebody sitting in their living room in India and changes their life? Because I'm sure you get emails, right? This is that kind of music.
Mm-hmm. It is. And at first it really surprised me because I really had no idea what was happening. I didn't really even know what I was doing, because originally, years ago, and for most of my life, I had the mindset of a lead guitar player. I didn't see myself as anything more, like songwriter or whatever, doing all the things we do now. And so it's been this continuous evolution. And eventually, I was like, hey, I've got a lot to say. There's a lot of pain. And it just kind of naturally happened in the songs. And I wasn't really thinking about what was happening. I was just like, hey, I guess this is this is what I'll sing, these words right here. And then getting those responses from people was kind of shocking, but I thought about it and it made a lot of sense. I was like, oh, I guess they must feel the pain. And
music is universal.
Yeah. Yeah. And when that started happening, I was kind of taken back, and it kind of made me feel a crazy new sense of meaning and gratitude, honestly. It made me just feel so much gratitude, because for so long it felt like, you go through life and it feels like it's just hit after hit. And at a certain point, you almost feel like it's pointless. Like you're like, why am I even dealing? Why? And then And then after the songs started happening and people started saying that it was helping them, that's when I had I guess, an epiphany. I realized it was it's more than just me. That's for sure. It's about everybody.
Hey there, I am Johnny Christ from Avenged Sevenfold, and I've got a podcast called Drinks with Johnny you're going to want to check out. I sit down with a bunch of different people from all different walks of life, from professional wrestlers to actors, comedians, fighters, musicians, everything in between. I'm just looking to make some friends and have a good time doing it. So if that sounds like something you're into, go check out Drinks with Johnny, streaming everywhere now.
Right. So I usually don't ask the same question in two different interviews, but I'm going to ask this even though I just asked it previously. Do you feel a sense of responsibility to your fans then when you're writing this kind of music?
I guess lately that perspective has become more evident in my process, because I never thought about like that at first, but now maybe it's not like my primary or even secondary perspective, but I definitely would say it does kind of come into play maybe towards the end of the song when the song's pretty much almost done, and then I'll be like, all right, so all those people that could resonate, like, what would this look like to them? And then I'll listen to the song kind of through those ears.
Gotcha. Because, I mean, if we can talk about it, it's in your bio, so I guess it's okay. You deal with imposter syndrome and depression. So you've kind of been in the trenches, right? And you have something to offer.
I would suppose so. I would hope so. Definitely been in the trenches for, good Lord, it's been about 10 years.
And so I'm assuming that music is what gets you through and gets you up every morning? Yeah.
No, absolutely. At this point, I've sacrificed so much for it. And yeah, there's nothing I'd rather do. I think music is really the blessing that keeps me most grateful, most anchored.
Keep you most anchored. Yeah, I imagine so. So what does this look like? Are you guys going to take this out on the road?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's just a matter of, finalizing a few things with pretty much getting some guys up to speed with the set and getting ourselves ready to play live, but it'll definitely be happening this year. And tours probably pretty soon after, whenever we can take them on.
Are you playing any local shows just to try these things out, or is it too early?
A little too early, but that's definitely where we're going to start. It's definitely going to be like Austin, San Antonio, maybe Dallas and Houston for sure. Nice.
And for fans that want to find you guys, can you give us your socials?
Yeah, it's just Bridges Ablaze on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube.
All right, cool. And I wanted to go back real quick. I know we're probably running out of time, but are you still doing the petroleum degree from the University of Texas?
Not currently, no, but I do have it over there on the wall, and it has come in. Oh, yeah, I finished. And I did engineering work for a while, and then I did software, and I feel like the engineering has helped me just in so many ways, even in music. You'd be surprised. Like, I use Microsoft Excel. Yeah. And kind of viewing, I guess, Bridges Ablaze as a system and just being accountable in all of the ways with it. Like, I use Microsoft Excel for so many things, and I use like a ton of like Google Drive and documentation, and there's a lot of organization to it. And I think a lot of that came from that.
Oh, interesting. Who would have thought? Yeah. Was it tough to walk away from it? Because I imagine that's a steady salary and a steady gig, with insurance and everything else.
Exactly. Yes, it was. And it still is hard. The other day I thought about, going back, but I'm like, man, I'm too busy. It would be so difficult to, at this point, retain both, because I'd have to be clocking in and out with engineering for having to manage, things with Bridges. So,
Brien, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it. Hope that wasn't too bad.
Oh, no, I had a great time. That was a lot of fun. Thank you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I try and meander a little bit, stick instead of just asking like where the name came from or, the normal questions you get 100 times a day. Well, cool, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Good luck. I don't know if you got a run coming out here to Richmond, but hopefully we'll catch you out this way sometime.
Absolutely. If we're ever there, definitely, stop by and we'd love to say hi.
Awesome. Be well, my friend.
Hey, you too. Thank you.
Cheers. All right, bye.
Cheers.
Hey, this is Scott from Fly on the Call. Each week I speak to a different musician, whether they're in an established band like Silverstein or the Wonder Years, or a band on the rise like Spanish Love Songs, Origami Angel, or Meet Me at the Altar. We discuss music and lyrics, the successes and challenges of being in a band, and more, as we get to the core of each artist. The show features musicians of diverse genres and backgrounds, so there's always a chance I'll be talking to your new favorite band. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.